Hi, welcome to Made to Heal with Angela Brown. So, I'm going to get into a little bit of the understanding sadness and depression in this chapter of the emotional resilience. And I'm going to get into that here in a sec. But I want to tell you about my new book that's published on Amazon. It is called You Are Made to Heal Spiritually, Emotionally, Mentally, and Physically. My journey about where I was stuck for 30 plus years in anger, resentment, and just being stuck, not knowing how to move forward. And I had hit rock bottom a few times, and the last time I hit rock bottom was uh, the very last time in 2015, in the fall of 2015. I was beside myself and I hit rock bottom, and I literally called on Christ to help me and to save me because I knew He was the only source that could help me. And from that time on, He showed me step by step. God and Christ, I believe, together showed me step by step how to heal spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically because I didn't have a source to go to. And, you know, not that I didn't have a source, I just didn't know what, how, where. And they led me to classes and different courses and books and so many things that have helped me on my journey. And I truly believe they had a hand in it. And I have not had to deal with suicidal thoughts or depression for 9 years. And that's been miraculous for me. And it's been a natural, holistic process without the use of pharmaceutical drugs, which that was important for me too, as well. And I know that God and Christ recognize that, and they've helped me on my journey. So click on the link below in the comments, and that'll be a link to my book. It was written for teens and adults alike. And no matter where you find yourself on your journey, if you think you're doing really good, it has a lot of ideas for everyone on their journey. And if you have somebody that's struggling in your life, it's definitely got helps to help with those as well. Um, so I really like in this, if you go to this manual on the website, thechurchofjesuschrist.org, you will find this manual called Emotional Resilience, and it is so helpful. I found this This course came out 5 years into my healing journey. And when I took this course, which was, I thought, oh well, I probably don't need it because I'm doing good. I'm on my healing journey. And um, as I took this course, I was like, wow, this is so good. Like, this would have been awesome 5 years ago because I wonder where I'd be. It would have propelled me and moved me a little quicker, right? So it's just it's wonderful, and I've taken it again. I took this course again thinking, I've done this course before. I don't need it. And I'm just going to be honest with you. We need it all the time. Get the manual, hang on to it, and refer to it all the time because we forget. We read, we forget, and we don't implement. And it's so important to not forget and to implement these ideas, these helps on a daily basis. So no matter where you find yourself on your journey, we all need it. I recommend this 10-week course for all ages, teenagers on up. I dare say 14 on up is just the greatest time for people to take this course because we are just living in difficult times. So in the section that I've been learning about in the I've forgotten what it's called. The chapter is called Understanding Sadness and Depression. And he talks about the differences. Let's see, I'm trying to say when I say he, but there's just several different quotes from different people. But they talk about depression being an ebb and flow. Or no, they talk about sadness and depression and the difference between them. And sadness is something that we all get. We all get or disappointed or, just set off, right? So we all have those. And it can be just normal things that we all kind of go through, right? But and So sadness is an emotion. It's to let us be aware. In my opinion, we have our emotions to let us be aware if we are on track or off track with our goals, our purpose, our mission, our whatever it is. Our emotions help us to know if we are on or off track. And emotions are normal too, like the negative emotions that we get. It's called we're human, and we get the blessing of feeling these extreme emotions from joy to sorrow, right? Those complete contrast opposites. And we're going to feel all of them. And it's important to recognize these emotions and to go through them and feel them. So sadness is more like an ebb and flow. Just they come and go, right? They come and go, and depression is something different. Sometimes depression is caused. Now, when I'm talking depression, it's they talk about depression can be a disorder when you have it quite often, and sometimes it's from unknown causes, unknown. We don't know why some people get depression, and they have depression all the time, and they feel numb to their feelings, or there's causes for this depression, whether it's childhood trauma, abuse of any kind, and experiences. And that's where my depression came from. I was depressed for 30 plus years, and a lot of it had to do with childhood trauma. Childhood traumas, I had more than one trauma, and so childhood traumas is a big factor for a lot of people that are going through depression and things. So it's so important to determine if it's sadness or depression. And I never sought help, and I wished I would have. I just didn't. I think I was afraid to seek help because I was afraid that they would just put me on some drug, which I just have always been. I was raised naturally and holistically, and I really truly believe drugs can chemically alter our brains and change things that way. And I wasn't okay. I didn't want to be dependent on something, but I'm not saying that's not the route to go either. So I just want everybody to seek help. Seek help. I didn't seek help. There are more ways than you can seek help, and just if you're into the natural holistic side of things like I am, seek help, but stand up for you. Stand up for what you believe in, and there's still tools and things out there. Um so yeah, that's how I would say the difference between sadness and depression is depression or sadness is something that just comes and goes. It's an ebb and flow, and depression is something that stays and lingers for days, weeks, months, sometimes years. For me, it was years before I could pull myself out of it. And then I'd be out for about, anywhere from a few months to a year, and then right back into it. And so it's a really hard thing, and it's depression just makes you so numb to your emotions. You just can't feel, and you don't want to face those emotions. But for me, it created a lot of resentment. It created a lot of anger and frustration. And the people, not only was I suffering, but my kids and my husband, they were all suffering right alongside me. So it is really debilitating. It was for me. And so I like how they go into the factors that can lead to emotional challenges and just being aware of those. So I'm going to point those out. They say biological, physical factors with our body can cause emotional challenges, such as genetics, serious illness or injury. I had to deal with that. That was one of my thing is I've had to deal with being a sickly child, and it carried on, and it's still into my adult years. If I don't eat a particular way, then I'm going to feel like crud all the time. And so I've had to battle with that. Diet and lack of physical activity can cause the emotional challenges. Misuse of illegal drugs or medications, seasonal weather, that's huge. Pay attention to that and decide where you should live, because that does affect chemical or hormonal changes. So I want to go into the weather because My husband has always said, in the past, let's move to Alaska. Let's move to Alaska. And from the get go, I'm like, no, I know I cannot handle Alaska because I need sunshine. I definitely need sunshine. Do I love the rain? Absolutely. I love, love, love the rain. But um, I've known myself well enough to where I know I wouldn't be able to live in a place where it rains a lot or it's dark a lot. Um, I thrive on sunshine. The cloudy weather, and maybe this is something that you can pick up on too. Maybe it doesn't affect you. But for me, when it is overcast and cloudy, I'm a lot more tired and sluggish, and I just don't have the energy that I would like to, as much energy, but as compared to days that are sunshine and bright, I have more energy. I know it's probably weird, but that's just where I'm at. I have a lot more energy and oomph to my day when there's sunshine. Although I do love it when it rains, right? We need to have our times, but when it's raining day in and day out for months, I know that's just something that I wouldn't be able to handle. I love my sunshine. So let that, be aware to that kind of stuff, because sometimes we can change our circumstances. If you live in an area where the weather is not conducive to your emotions, then that's something that can be changed a little easier than other things, such as things that are inherited and biological. So anyway, then there's psychological, physical, or emotional events like major events and transitions, death or loss, abuse. I had a lot of that, right? I had some of that growing up and have had to deal with that. And so that can be a contributing factor. Physical, psychological, social interactions with others, creating strong emotions. So conflict, if there's a lot of conflict, loneliness and isolation, social pressures, and betrayal or broken trust. And I had a lot of that happen, but a lot of it too. On the same token, I want to say, um, a lot of it was self-inflicted, not realizing it was self-inflicted, but then a lot was outside circumstances that happened to me too, where I didn't trust others, and I had a hard time, uh, you know, a hard time connecting. When you have so many traumas happen to you as a child, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, um, and physically, like sexual abuse, which I had been sexually abused as a small child, that just affects your connection with others. And unless you've had that happen to you, you wouldn't know, but it does. It affects your connecting with other human beings, and it's a challenge. And so see where that might lie. And also, emotional challenges can come from spiritual difficult events that will test our faith. And some of them are consequences from our actions, our choices, we've caused what we brought, right? You are where you're at because of the choices you made. Each and every one of us are where we are at because of choice. Just bottom line. So pay attention to that. And also living in a troubled world. And I have just found the last several years, I realized that watching the news day in and day out was throwing me deeper into a downward spiral. And so I decided I'm shutting that off. I already hear terrible things without watching the news. I don't need to augment it. And so I've just told people, look, if something really bad happens and you think I need to know, you can let me know. But I just, I'm probably the last to find out when things are going on in the world, because I just can't. I can't take, um, especially when you're an empath, which I'm an empath. When you hear bad news and and you're watching the news day in and day out, you internally take it in. You're taking on the world's crap, and you don't know how to shield yourself from it. That was me, especially when I was in an unhealthy state of mind. I didn't know how to shield that all off and differentiate that and mine. And so it's important to be able to do that. It's important to be able to recognize the things that are the factors, all the factors, whether it's biological or psychological or all of that stuff going on. It's important that we can recognize where this is coming from, where your depression stems from. It's important to be able to call it out. And if you can't put a finger on it, if it's not biological or generational or all that stuff, and you just have no clue, then I would just I would say I had a thought and it just went out the window, but it was a good thought. um, just if it's not biological or things and you don't know where it came from, pray. God will let you know. I mean, it's come from somewhere. It's emotions, our trapped emotions that we deal with. Um, and maybe it's just stuff that you are soaking up. You could be just this empath that is feeling everybody's stuff in your household, in your communities or whatever, and you just take it on, and it makes things really heavy and hard to bear. So that's important to know too. So anyway, it's important. Our emotions help us know when we're off track and on track, and don't stuff them, don't numb them. That's what I had done for so long. Numbing just creates anger. It creates confusion and frustration, and just a place of chaos and feeling like you're out of control. So when we can call these things out and recognize them, and um, be willing to work through them from there, knowing where they stem from, it definitely helps. So anyway, I love how they go into the differences between sadness and depression, and knowing that we all are going to feel sadness. And it was cool to see that clarified 5 years into my healing journey, because I'm like, well, I haven't been depressed, which I truly have not been depressed for 9 years, which is a miracle. But I doesn't mean I don't deal with sadness, hard things. We've just had a lot of, life brings heartache, just life and different things. And so it's okay. You can feel those emotions and not be thrown into depression. So I may be sad for, you know, a few hours to a few days versus it going into weeks and months and years. And there's a difference where you just stay and you can't pull yourself out of it, because I've been there so many times. So, anyway, God bless. Please like and subscribe to my channel, share it with others, and until next time, bye.